Alright.
Oh, well, I mean, they haven't started the lobby yet. We're still waiting for someone. I think it's on, they're missing one person on Skirmishers. Also, I don't think you provided the link in the server, no? For them.
Tell them the Bhishi that we are ready, Felix.
No, I'm telling
Yeah.
you. Are you ready? Do I tell them we're live? Blazing? Do I tell them we're live?
We are ready. Someone left. Fox.
Interesting. Well, what do you think? So yesterday, Skirmishers focused a lot on the Lulu pick. I think out of their 3 games, they picked Lulu twice, I believe. Soraka was the heavy pick in support position. What do you think they're gonna go today?
I think Lulu pick is really good with Bishi's team because they are playing around Kyle, and Kyle is really good ADC as a hyper carry. So I think it's fine against Xenon.
Yeah. I mean, I've also noticed that, like, even their yesterday's matches, we didn't watch the team Xenon matches, but I noticed that Raven, he's mostly a tank support player. He also been playing a lot more enchanters. He played Nami, which I guess Yumi is more universal pick, but
Yeah, exactly. If Raven go with like tanky support, then it will be good for Bishi's team overall. But I guess they have to focus on their Xenon's jungle bans, I guess.
yeah. So it feels like their hyper carry on Team Xenon is probably going to be Senpai as usual. They're probably going to target ban Inertia's Kaisa for sure because it's one of the main AD carries that he plays. His Ezreal as well, but he only kind of mastered to an extreme level, like only Kaisa and Ezreal, so they could probably get rid of those. Pretty sure he can play other AD carries as well, but those were the main 2 that he plays most of the time. And then for their top lane, it's a very strange mix. And there we go, we're in.
Yeah, alright. Let's see. I think they should ban Kaisa for Inertia because he is very comfortable with the Kaisa pick.
Right, Team Xenon has the first ban. They could try and bait a Yumi pick here, as they should have first pick as well.
Yep. Yeah, they are going with Vex ban. Now let's see the Bishi's ban. I think they should be banning Kha'Zix or Ornn ban.
Right, Ornn gets banned right away. A bit strange of a first ban. Bhishi buys Vex just got banned right off the bat.
Yeah.
Corki got banned. Yeah, Corki has been such a powerful champion. Not many teams have kind of utilized him as much this turn, but every time Corki was picked, he was a very solid pick, so banning it makes sense. Kaisa gets banned, there we go, that's we predicted that.
That is a good ban by Bhishi. I think Ornn ban was for himself because he used to play Fiora a lot. Or Darius. Yeah.
I think Fiora still is good into Ornn. The only thing is Ornn is just generally very annoying in team fights. Very, very annoying. Volley ban. Okay, that's a bit
Volley.
strange. I mean, we did see them mix up the Ornn and the Volley Bear, but
Yeah.
so I guess the Ornn ban also makes sense. They're trying to deny all their comfort picks that they saw them previously play. So Ornn
All right.
ban, Fortune ban, there we go. Senpai's Wukong got banned.
A decent bans for Bishi's team and from the Xenons. And here we're going with Rakan. I think Inertia is playing Rakan. We'll see. Let's see.
Kinda tough to say. They still have Raven on their team. Raven is still playing here. It's not like they swapped out, so I don't know if is Raven going to go AD carry and Inertia's gonna go Rakan, or are they gonna give it Raven the Rakan? I mean, they banned the Kaisa, so it could be. It looks like a response. Gragas pick.
Gragas is a really good pick to disengage the Rakan engage here.
Good disengage, good CC, good all-in. The cask is huge in team fights, so
Yeah, overall one-shot potential.
yeah, if you build it, you can build him tank, you can build him support, you can build him more of a utility-based cooldown build. You can go full AP and one-shot people. Very flexible, and it looks like a Xin Zhao response. Strange response. There is usually Xin Zhao is a reaction pick. It's not necessarily a pick you would go into right away. So it's a bit weird. Okay, Senpai, that is going into jungle. Senpai plays that jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a main pick for Senpai. Or Bashar. Bashar can also play Z. He's also one pick.
Okay, then we see Yone hover. Potentially, Senpai would go Yone jungle because he has done that before. He has done Yone jungle. Shyvana, hover Shyvana. Goes back to Yone.
I don't think it was a bad pick, but let's see. By the way, Brand could be potentially a support. Oh, okay, they are going with the Lux support.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Lux support a lot more. Yeah, I like the Lux support with the Xin Zhao and the Gragas. It's a very good pick. The only thing which is strange is they're kind of like pre-picking thing. They're not really responding to it. It's just pre-made picks. Like that is.
No. I think okay, they went with the Brand pick, but the Bishi's team is going with the disengage comp. Like they want to poke and okay.
It looks like there was a mistake. Pretty sure that Brand wasn't wanted.
I don't think so. I think Bashar was picking a bet. Okay, mid glitched.
I mean, it did like pick something and then just glitch back to the Brand. Not gonna lie. But yeah. I mean, I understand they're going for a more disengage, but again, they don't really have, other than Rakan, like something that, oh yeah, this will engage. Rakan is the only champion that has been picked to, like Gragas is just a solid overall pick. Like, it's just you pick with Gragas, and generally speaking, you don't really, there is no real, like, I think Gragas is one of the very few champions of the game who doesn't really have counters. Like, Gragas will just generally do good in mid, top, and jungle, and even in support, he can generally do good.
Yeah, it's all about the execution of the comp, and like if Rakan engages first, and you cannot have the particular period of time to react on his engage. That's what matters. If Gragas engages first, then it will be the same.
I think they just understand that they have their own comps, and
yeah, I think you're right, because they are comfortable with their champions pool, I guess, with that.
Yeah, they're just going with pre-made champions. Because I understand the Zed and the Yone pick are more of a comfort thing. Like the Bashir's gonna go mid lane, so he's gonna go Zed, for sure.
Yes,
Senpai can play both Zed jungle and Yone jungle, but Senpai has been doing more Yone jungle than Zed, I think, this season.
He was also playing like Kha'Zix, Yone, and Shyvana in jungle. But let's see. He can play anything, I think.
Alright, it looks like it's gonna be a Swain pick. And see, this is where I was talking about. Like, yeah, the Zed might have been a very like understandable pick. You have two people that play Zed. You know, Zed is not necessarily the ultimate free win champion, because he does fall off in the later stages of the game. Everybody has Zonia. His cooldowns are low, so he can kind of spam ult, but it's difficult to make Zed work because you're lacking a body in the team fight. Like, you have only 4 people, and Zed will generally jump around, so you don't really have that tankiness in your team.
But as a Zed, you can one shot potentially and do the split push.
Yeah, but who are you going
as a
to one
pusher,
shot?
yeah, as a pusher, he loves to split push with the Z. So let's see how it goes. I think they are going with the split push things more
Yeah,
with this comp.
it looks like a set ban, Ezreal ban, which is a not a bad response, very good because Ezreal can avoid the Yone, Ezreal can avoid Z burst if you time your arcane shift correctly. You can jump away from the Z shadows. You can also dodge the Rakan engage. So Ezreal ban it makes a lot of sense. Tristana ban as well. I think they realize that there's a lot of snowball potential, so they just got rid of the Tristana.
They should be banning Varus for Kyle. I think so. But let's see what they ban. Kyle's Varus is very good as far as I know.
I think in this situation, we don't really. I don't think so far we don't have a solid support. So banning a support that can stop your team from engaging. Okay, there we go. So like a champion. Yeah. Then Zhao and Lulu is very underrated. Then Zhao and Lulu is very strong, very underrated, very strong.
Yeah, and they can also pick ADC with Lulu, which can work with Lulu too. So they are
Pretty
Lulu
much.
champion. So let's see what they pick. Oh, okay, I told you Varus. Kyle's Varus is really good. You will see in the game. But let's see what they pick for their ADC.
Because I was thinking like if XN picked Varus, it would have been a lot better for them as they needed it. It doesn't necessarily like dominate the Xin Zhao, but it stops Xin Zhao from like separating the team. So it would make so much sense. So they took that away. I'm not sure if it was like a deny pick or they just kind of want to play it in their comp because it works both ways, right? You have the Gragas, so it just dominates everything.
Right. They are going with Rakan and Seraphine bot lane. Strange in this meta.
Yeah.
They have actually one range champion in their team, Xenon, which is gonna make some difficulties for them in the later stages, as Varus can poke them, Ari can poke them.
But you look at it from this perspective, right? Because you have ranged champions, which are like Orianna, but they're mostly like zoning based. And then you have artillery backline, which is like Seraphine, Varus. These are like artillery heavy long range. They're very, very long range. So the Seraphine, one thing that I'm confused with is you need to be a very, very accurate Seraphine. You need to preemptively ult in every fight because your teammates move way faster than you as a Seraphine, so you're constantly exposed in the backline. Like there's no real protection.
You have to be precise with Seraphine ults and abilities because she needs timing for that.
And that generally is we say that generally like throughout the best way to put it is we generally say that throughout Seraphine just being picked overall. But now you're looking at a team comp that will go in, dive, every single person on their team has some form of a dash or an engage. Seraphine doesn't have any form of spacing, her W gives her movement speed. But then you have to also remember that they have a Varus which forces, like it just makes your team completely stop engaging. They have a Sion which is not going to get melted that easily. They have a Gragas which can stop engage, and they have a Xin Zhao which will survive all of the Seraphine damage, right? And I guess, Seraphine AD carry could be a really good pick, because, the new boots just make any AP champion this season very, very powerful. But it is very strange, in my opinion. It is a bit strange to go Seraphine Rakan right now. I don't think it's that great idea. Seraphine will always be good, but I'm not sure about the Rakan pick with it. And if they wanted Rakan Seraphine, I think the Zed should have not been picked at all. Like Zed jungle would make sense, but I don't understand. Like you're lacking a body. You're basically playing a 4v5 with the potential of one of your players deleting somebody on the enemy team. But who is he going to delete? That's the problem.
Okay. The point being is that we are watching the best teams in their own regions. Let's see who's gonna dominate the Rift. Let's dive into the Rift. I think with the Gragas and Varus, it will be problematic with Xenon overall if they execute good. And same on the side of Xenon. If Rakan and Seraphine ults get hits, it will be over. So let's see. Good luck with the both teams. Let's see how it goes.
Minions have spawned.
So no one is invading in the team. Okay, there is a Gragas in the top bush with Scion for the early lead.
Yep, they're predicting because Raven has been known to do this type of play when he picks any type of champion like that, but seems like Raven is on Seraphine, so I don't think he's ever gonna do that in top lane. Inertia is not one to do these types of plays typically.
But yeah, Kaze knew that Gragas would be here, so that's why he didn't engage.
I mean, this is one of those games where whichever team snowballs first typically will take the win, generally speaking. So it's like you can't wait towards late game. Like yes, Yone has a ton of damage late game, but look at the enemy pick. Look at the skirmishers picks. It's not you're not getting your ult and your Q is not gonna be enough to kill all of them, and that's where it becomes a problem. Because
Overall, the skirmishers late game is not gonna have a lot of impact because Varus needs to poke first before team fighting.
yeah,
So they need to.
I mean I think it
They need.
depends. Because remember the new boots, the mana boots make RA one shot now very early into the game. So it stops a lot of the snowballing. That's kind of the main issue. And their team comp can do something that a lot of the teams don't do. They can split the map.
Alright, Zenzo is going with Zed. Okay, get out without his flash. Ari is still chasing.
I'll be
I don't know
muted.
why Ari
I'll be muted for a moment. I'll fix my mic. One sec.
Alright. So they get 2 flashes out with 1 flash. Alright. Here is a dive on Kaze and here is a plus blood.
Champion
Well
slain.
played. I don't know what's going on their bot side. Both the sports are roaming.
Champion slain.
Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
If only you'd listened.
Okay, Scion is ulting bot side. They need to get back. They don't know that Scion is coming. If this a hit, okay, nice. So Scion basically wasted his time, I guess, which gives Camille a free farm and I guess a 1 place for that mistake. Okay, Ari's ult is out and
Slain.
Zed is heading towards the bot side and they got the kill on bot side.
Champion slain.
Okay, Zed is dead. I think both the teams are doing fine at this point of time. Zenzo is going in the jungle. Okay, he decided to go back because his red side is respawn. So there is no such goal lead for both teams as far as Bishi's team is having slight gold lead with those first blood kills and stuff. The red side is deciding for dive, potential dive. Okay, they almost got by here. Okay, so that was a bad engage, I guess. They didn't know that Gragas is in. Over. I think Xenon can just avoid the fight and go for the heavy. But Senpai is asking for the it's a piece. Deep fight.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
Yeah.
Red team has slain the Rift Herald. First turret destroyed.
With the skirmishers. This time. We'll need otherwise she will get down. Wait.
Blue team champion slain. Red team champion slain. Shut down.
This is one. Or that a lot gold to stay.
Alright, I'm back. I had a few issues in the background. I'm back now. So what did I miss? It looks like... Alright, Zen has a few kills.
Dominating, having the control of the map by I think it would be more short fight. Get something.
Well, I mean, comp does something that a lot of teams don't take into consideration, right? The thing is, Skirmishers comp has the ability to split the map. What that basically means is they have enough tankiness and utility and solo potential to where they can play on both sides of the map at once. But the thing is, when you look at Xenon, it might seem like they do, but every time you send Camille on one side of the map and Zed on the other side of the map, you are limited to what these champions can provide a lot of the time. So if Zed uses ult like there, right, that situation right there, where Zed uses ult on the Ahri, it wasn't enough to kill the Ahri, he pays the price immediately. That's the problem with Zed against champions like Ahri. Like, Zed will not have enough kill pressure against these champions. Now, we look at this very I used to explain this to you as well. Once you kind of push the lane and bot lane, you put Darius in mid, and basically they can't touch the mid lane tower at this point.
They need Rakan engaged for the initial team fight.
Well, they need the Rakan to actually get to a point where he has that impact when he engages.
A perfect engagement, you might say. He needs to get content.
I mean, I remember you said something earlier about their team, what is it called? Skirmishers team will not have a good late game. I think, and this is where I was talking about splitting the map. Xen will never really have the ability to take towers as long as Skirmishers split the map correctly. They will never really have it, because look at this, they have to invest so many resources to kill them. It's taking so long for them to kill them. And that's kind of stuff.
I was saying about team fight. Like if Inertia engages good with Rakan, Turkey, it will be easy for them. But overall, Skirmishers is doing really good on the map.
Someone donated $2 asking me to say Doofy is the best. All hail Lord Doofy. Say. Don't say. $2.
It's you can say that. You already said that.
I already said it. Normally we have to
Slain the
say
dragon.
Bhishi is the best. Oh lord, this is sick.
Bhishi is the best, I guess.
We have people saying to reduce the game volume a bit because it's too loud. They can't hear us. Alright, it looks like they're moving to the dragon. I think, I think in this situation, right, you can't send everybody against skirmishers. You can't really send everybody against them towards the dragon. If you ignore the Scion, or if you ignore really anybody on their team, they will, again, that's the ability of splitting the map. They force you to constantly respond. The thing is, if you do constantly respond, you better be fed, the Yoni better be fed so that he can actually kill people. But as you can see, they don't have enough damage for that. There it is.
But the one at least for his team.
Yeah. They got the Varus out, but if you look closely, it doesn't matter. Skirmishers still have all their ultimates. Ult.
I think it's why you
This is different. There we go. Yeah, that's it. That's the huge engage that Rakan has to do. And this is like they have to keep taking fights like this to win. They cannot allow skirmishers to ever split the map. If they allow skirmishers to split the map, they will never be able to take towers. They have to force them into fights where Rakan, Yone will perma knock them up. That's the only way they can win these fights. Now they kind of had ulti. I don't understand how they lost that, but still, they lined up. Rakan had like a huge knockup, followed with the Yone ult, and that was
followed
it.
with Seraphine.
Yeah.
I think Seraphine was not there, but overall Rakan means a lot to the team. So Skirmishers needs to avoid the team over. They need to take off their carries one or two by one or two. Just only. She's going to eat again. I think she wants to try.
Alright. They have no vision, they're sitting in the bush. Huge knockup from Scion. Rakan gets caught out. Engages still. Probably would die here if they don't land a good ult. Huge ult comes in, they all end up dying. Now, Camille is still split pushing, which is a bit strange because their comp isn't supposed to be doing that. Skirmishers are not splitting the map correctly, allowing the Camille to take towers for free.
And on the other side, Zed also kill Ahri. So, to fight.
I mean, it's a bit of a strange game for Zed, because like he can get kills, he can also get killed. It's a very strange dynamic for Zed this game. But the interesting thing about like that champion specifically is when you go against champions that can't split the map, like their team right now, the main issue is this: Zed can just run around the river, and he's allowed to do that because their team can't necessarily respond to him that well, unless Ahri's there and they land a charm, which is followed by a kill. So Zed is just allowed to run up and down the river and do whatever he wants because he could just get away. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily expect yeah.
Yeah, you are saying a bit different. The thing is that they have two split push in their game in the Zen one. So as a Zed, you can split push and you can easily get to win. Ahri cannot that on that.
But you also have to look at the response, right? He might be able to split push, but it's really difficult to kill. If you run into Scion, it's really difficult to kill the Scion. You have to think about that as well. Okay, there we go. I mean, right now they got their goals. So to be honest, it just feels like this is gonna be a game. As long as they keep the pace, they could probably end here too. Because remember, Scion is alive. Scion is dead. Or was that his passive? The camera moved away.
with the early lead in the game, they didn't have to fight like.
Red team lost
They didn't have to fight the way they did. I mean, I wasn't here to see it all, but they were supposed to split the map. They were supposed to hold towers. Their late game is very devastating because they cannot necessarily deal with all that damage. But then you look on the other side where you can take all the tier 1 towers. Skirmishers can take all the tier 1 towers and they can kind of block the tower tech with the Varus sitting in mid lane spamming Q. But he ended up getting caught, and I mean, at that point, it's just a matter of comboing everything, and that was game 1.
That was game 1, GG by Xenon. But although after focusing on their parents' side, their Zinzao needed to go with the other side of them. They had
Yeah.
to carry their own ADC. Or
That's why I was saying, like, a lot of their picks were not response. Like, you don't pick Xin Zhao. Typically, you pick Xin Zhao if they have a lot of long range. But if you look at their team, it's just dive. Like, and the Xin Zhao pick was way too early. I think the Xin Zhao pick was just extremely early. I don't know if it was they were trying to deny Senpai the Xin Zhao pick, but it was way too early. I think, in my opinion, you don't pick a champion like Xin Zhao that early into the game. You don't know like what they're gonna go, and the Varus going AP here is a bit interesting too because, I mean, it's a very powerful pick, but I'm not sure if AP should have been the path. AP requires comboing. You need to land your ultimate, which means you need to get close enough. You will never be able to get close enough against all this dive. So you just go AD, build your lethality, get a Cyrilda's Grudge, spam your Q, deal damage, chip them down, allow your team to just building AP. If you go AP on Varus, your Q will not do any damage. Your first ability will not do any damage without stacks or marks on the enemies. Which for that means you either gotta walk close to auto them or ult them, which will place marks on them. On top of that, your arrow will also deal damage on the other condition, which is using your W, but that's execute damage, right? It's basically execute AP damage. Now, the issue here is they went Varus and they built AP. You will never be able to deal that much damage. You need to chip them down. They're very squishy. Go AD, get your Yomus, Manamune, Collector, Cyrilda, Yomus. You will be chilling in the back line, spamming Q. They cannot kill you. They can't touch you. They require flashes if they ever try to kill you. And if their backline flashes that far into you, or their engage flashes that far into your backline, their backline, which is Seraphine, dies. And they can't combo it. And that was the main problem, is their team just separates way too quickly because of the Yone engage, the Camille engage. Their team just separates quickly. And Zed doesn't necessarily play around a team. Zed just ults somebody and gets out. As long as he ults somebody and gets out, Zed is doing his job. So he's never going to kind of 5-man traditionally like all the other characters. But what they ended up happening is they clumped up together. They didn't split the map. They didn't use all their tankiness to their favor. They didn't use all their split potential to their favor. And they ended up allowing them to get comboed by the Rakan ult, the Rakan engage, the Seraphine ult, the Yone ult and knock up. They were just being comboed to oblivion because you saw the amount of damage that they were dealing. All of these abilities would have one-shot any traditional team, but because there's so much CC, they're unable to move, and their tankiness slowly gets chipped away as they're being perma-CC'd. By the time all these abilities run out, Rakan gets his knock up again, and he knocks him one more time. So you're looking at maybe 7 seconds or so of just pure CC.
overall, yeah, Varus pick was not good as an AP Varus.
Yeah, I
Because-
think AD Varus would have been the pick.
Yeah, as an ability in Xenon, there was a lot of ability self, like it was so yeah, so you need a timing, total timing to and your third deal particular moment. Let's go a second game in they will change the drop this game.
Yep. Sides are switched. First pick and first ban goes to Skirmishers. Let's see what they do here. I mean, hopefully they try to bait a Lulu or a Yumi. Enemy side can ban it. I mean, Yumi is just a champion that anybody can really play. Lulu
Yeah, I
is
think-
probably stronger. Okay, they have to redo it. I guess one of them was lagging or they couldn't see champions.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. They should be getting good.
because they are comfortable.
Yeah.
Initiative.
Well, they have Birdman. Are they lagging again, or are they thinking? Are they thinking? Because they're not hovering it. Oh, there it is. Kaisa ban. Okay. Kaisa gets banned right away. I mean, you can counter Kaisa with champions that she can't snowball like Caitlyn, Ezreal. I don't necessarily like Caitlyn. I think Ezreal would be a really good champion though. Corki is another good one, but they're banning it, so they're not allowing them to pick Corki. I guess that Corki carry potential is huge. I played Corki in solo queue the other day. Man, this champion, I haven't played Corki in like 4 seasons maybe. This champion is so strong. Like, it's not even funny.
Same as the Kaisa and Corki from like last so strong.
Oh, can
As
we
an
add
AD
one
carry,
more?
man.
Can we add one more caster? What do you think, Blazing? DM me. Do you think can I add one more?
We said,
We add shark. We add touchy shark. Alright.
it's
They got rid of Yone. Yone Orn ban, and it looks like a response to the Vex ban.
a Vex. It's
Volibear gets banned. Alright. So it feels like they're following the same pattern of bans. The only difference is Yone got banned this time. From Skirmishers. No, they have first pick. Lulu is open. They take the Wukong. That's a smart decision. You don't want Senpai to be on that champion. That champion is obnoxious as it is.
Skirmishers. I think Xenon can go. Okay, then.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though, I did warn them that Raven's go-to support pick, other than Alistar, is going to be Nautilus. So I mean, they should have expected this. I did tell them that, they did ask me, and I did tell them this is his go-to pick. Now, the thing is though, which is interesting about bot lane, is Raven is one of those people that when he goes for tank picks, he does not really play for the lane, he kind of just sits back. He will engage if the opportunity presents itself, but he will never really go for it. He will just sit there, and he will wait, and then he will play for rotation once he gets his ult. Alright, so we see a Yasuo pick. They're probably gonna go for another knockup pick. Like maybe they have a Nautilus, that's enough knockup, I believe. They're blocking away all their projectile picks. Orianna's amazing response. I think she's sleeper OP pick. Not many people know this, but the new boots have made so many champions that require scaling very, very powerful. Even Twisted Fate now is very strong in the early transition to mid, or when the dragon is about to come up. That 60 AP plus that 100% mana regeneration on the new boots is huge. It makes these characters insanely devastating.
But at this point, people don't for
Alright,
as
they take the Ezreal pick, they deny Inertia his Ezreal pick, because Raven is the one that's going to be playing Nautilus this match. So it looks like it's going to be a Lux pick. They have a Yasuo, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be Lux Nautilus bot lane. It's doable, but I mean, you need to be snowballing, which means Nautilus cannot leave the bottom lane, which is his main. Raven cannot leave bottom lane right now, because if they don't snowball and you're going Lux AD carry, or Lux AP carry, if that is the correct terminology, then you need the Lux to snowball. And for that to happen, you need to chain your CC. Lux Q goes through minions now, so it's all really up to Lux to set up the Q, to set up the binding light. Once she sets that up, Nautilus goes in, and then from there she just one-shots everybody because they can't really move. So it's all about laning right now.
I think let's go with other things like yes, they will pick the mic.
Your audio is a bit laggy. So they banned the Scion, they banned the Camille. Camille ban is understandable. Camille is just an annoying champion in general, I think, overall. One moment. I have to look away for a sec. Okay. Galio is banned, and Aatrox is banned. Okay. I'm honestly, Aatrox has only been banned against us. I mean, people only ban Aatrox against us, which this is refreshing to see Aatrox getting banned now. Senpai does play Aatrox. Yeah, Senpai does play Aatrox. His Aatrox is really, really good.
I
Oh wait, it looks like a Riven pick. That's probably for Kaze. Kaze plays Riven. Braum pick. A bit strange for Braum to be picked. And
But-
Renekton pick.
wrong. Improvements. Again,
There is that Shyvana pick. I mean, to be honest, it is a good combo with the Yasuo. I just don't really know about the Braum pick. You have Ezreal, you don't need to protect him. You can just jump away. I think
You-
going.
now going
It's hard to hear you, by the way. Your audio is very, very laggy. I don't know what you're saying. Hello? Are you there?
yes, I was fixing my mic. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It's a bit better, yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying that they should go with the Nami pick. Soon it will be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue with I think I mean the Ezreal pick would make a lot of sense. The Nami pick would make a lot of sense. I think they need something to keep the Wukong, like a Lulu. Lulu was open. I'm pretty sure they could have just went Lulu, because you don't really need Braum. Like you don't have to protect your Ezreal. You need to engage with the Wukong, and in my opinion, Braum's ulti is not enough to engage with the Wukong. It's just not really enough unless you hit everybody. Then it's just not enough. Because you look at it this way, right? Orianna's gonna have to play on an insanely high level. I don't think phase rush on Orianna matters too much because I mean you can just space properly now. I think first strike is very powerful on Orianna. Not many people are using it, but it is. Try it, you'll see. She can basically, after she gets boots, she can spike 500 gold off of first strike immediately. So to me, it's a bit strange. Let's make a prediction. What do you think? Who do you think is going?
I think Xenon graph is really strong here because as you said, Lulu was a really good pick here because Lulu can give ult to Bhishi and he can go all in on their carries to one shot easy.
I think
Nami-
in top lane is going to be a very interesting matchup in the top lane because you have two champions that are very dominant. Renekton is not necessarily bad level 1. I think Renekton is at his strongest at around level 3, unless you play your level 2 correctly. But Irvin is probably the strongest champion level 1 in the game, I believe. So you have a very, very interesting dynamic in top lane. If the Renekton survives the level 1 of Irvin, if he doesn't get chipped down because of Irvin's level 1, then he can basically come back into the game and just
But-
start dismantling her.
Minions
If
have
you're good
spawned.
with Renekton, you can actually win against Raven on level 1 by opening your second ability and get her first ability to get some more gold. I saw a lot of Renektons winning their lane on level 1 by one trick clearance also. But let's see how it goes.
By the way, we are still paused. We're still waiting. Alright. We're still gonna be delayed after 32 seconds. How far do we go? Do we go 40? 45 maybe? Yep, we're in. Okay, I'm on 1 minute 5. Oh, 1 second delay isn't that bad. Okay, so it looks like there's an early fight in the mid lane. Orianna should have never been chipped down to that low HP. That is a problem. You don't want, as an Orianna, you want to stay in the lane as long as possible to abuse the Yasuo. But apparently that did not happen, so now she has to back, give away the wave unless her jungler helps her out. Otherwise, she's under huge pressure to. Well, she still has flash, so she could probably stay. Top lane looks like Bhishi wins the trade against the Riven, pushes her out, gets his plate, resets. Riven loses a huge wave under tower. That's a big problem for her. Looking at bottom lane, Shyvana has pathed from red to blue. Full clear. She's about to hit level 4, I believe. So here is a problem. You do not want them to go around you with a Nautilus. You don't want that. And the issue is when you have Braum, although he is very good level 1 champion, you will never really utilize level 1, generally speaking, in the game. Now, they can't really gain much if they do go around it, because as well as just can chip away. Here you go, Braum goes.
Red team champion slain. Blue team champion slain.
Change kill. Was engaging.
I will give you a little comment from the chat box. DoorDash mic, and they're not wrong. Your mic. It's like the audio goes and comes. It's like you're sitting on your mic. It's so weird.
I have my new headset. I don't know why it's not working.
It doesn't sound new. It feels like it got scammed. Not gonna lie.
Okay, that was my bad voice. Have some mercy. So both the kill was for supports.
Yeah, well, I mean, they roamed to mid lane, they looked for a play, nothing happened. Shyvana's in mid lane, she has her ultimate up, Yasuo's waiting with his ultimate. She probably won't dive against Orianna, she's healthy.
Yes, they are not allowed to. So as a Renekton is doing really good versus Riven. As lane is going towards him, he is denying the minions. Okay, there is a huge knocker. Okay, I think they got the kill on Orianna. That was a nice engage.
I mean, Orianna should never be in this situation. It's tough when she's being ganked constantly, but here, look what happens, right? So the problem now is when the dragon spawns. Shyvana's path is going to look something like this. She took her red buff, she went topside for a gank because, what do you call it? The Renekton was being overly aggressive. After he won his level 1, after he got the wave crashed in and he got a plate, he had a huge lead. He should have never tried going for a kill, instead he should have frozen the wave. The main problem here is you need to kind of crash the wave the second the cannon wave shows up. For that, you reset, Riven is forced to stay to clear the wave, and then you rotate to the dragon as a Renekton and look for a fight. You cannot push your
they're going again and denying a lot from the Renekton. That's a huge loss by Renekton in his lane. And in the bot lane, let's got the kill. Okay.
No, what? They had to use the ult for that and it just didn't go as planned. I mean, honestly, you just let it go. If you're playing Braum like that, you don't ult a single target. I know it looks very juicy to get that kill, but you don't have to necessarily go for it. Alright, so Shyvana teleports back, her blue is up, she's probably gonna go for the dragon.
Yeah, she will get her passive before her Drake, I guess. Yeah, she is doing that.
She's gonna farm towards her dragon, so she's probably gonna pick up the blue buff as well on the way just to get her dragon farm. Or not, she's gonna run straight to the dragon, I guess.
Yeah, because she can get the form on her dragon. Yeah, she got the form.
They have a lead, so they are strong enough for this. Orianna is not being angled.
That was a bad decision going as a Luka. Because their team was not here.
The attempt was there though. The attempt was there. He tried to steal it.
But he should went with his second ability. Not with his flash, but he's fine. He survived.
Well, he survived, but see the problem is he doesn't have his ulti now to go for the Herald. So now he lost the dragon and Shyvana. At the same time, he's about to lose the Herald. He doesn't have his ulti now for this.
But at this point, they have 5. Yeah, they are 5. They are going to get this Herald.
Well, they just sack it. They just give the Herald. Braum ult missed. It should have been a re-engage, but I don't think Nautilus was in position. He didn't have ult either. Siobhan was about to run out of ult. Very risky, so they gave it. It's a smart decision. They could have
That was
probably fought for it. Yeah, it would have been a 60, 40%, 60% chance they win. But
it was not a chance to win as a Xenon because they were 4 versus 5 and overall their legs is dealing a lot of damage. So it was a smart decision. So skirmishes are trying to open the map again. But let's see. Okay, Renekton is trying to go Raven. No.
I've noticed this is something very common that Skirmisher's jungler does is inevitably at some point in the game he just forgets that he has jungle camps and just starts rotating around. That's why every jungler so far has kind of outscaled him. Because see Shyvana, if you look at the jungle from both sides, you'll notice that like he's basically 2 rotations behind at the moment, while Shyvana is a whole rotation ahead. So
And
he's not clearing fast enough, which is making him fall behind slowly. Look, he's level 7, Shyvana is level 9. He's so far behind on his clear. And that is not bad when you're playing a champion like Wukong. If you look at their team comp, they have a Braum and they have a Renekton, but really the main front line is going to be Wukong with the ult. That's going to be the main. Renekton is only going to go into single target stun and to look for a one shot. But that is not going to happen when you as a Wukong are very, very low and you can't get in there. And that's kind of the main issue. You have a lot of champions that can synergize with the Yasuo ult. It's not going to be easy.
yeah, and Wuka needs to farm for his mid game to get some items to sustain in the team fight for the team.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just a matter of, I think it's a nerve, type of nervous. Yeah, they're in that situation, they're nervous.
Wukong is playing on the reaction side at this point of time. After first game, he is playing on the reaction side as a jungler.
Yeah. I think, though, in terms of scaling, it's a bit, I think both teams scale really well. I just think that in terms of ease of execution, XM just has an easier time executing their comp. Because it's like, if you make one mistake against them and they get like 2 3-man ult or 3-man knocked up, you just lose the
Yes,
fight, really.
Skirmishers needs to execute and take actions instead of reactions. That's the only possibility they can win fights easily. Because they have Wukong, they have Renekton, they have Bromel to engage. So they need to engage on
Yeah.
their carries.
So right now, the big question is how do you come back?
Champion slain.
With full health,
Yeah, well, the also ult is low cooldown, so it's gonna be up on the dragon as well. My camera isn't moving to this place, I don't know why.
okay, you might be having a touch issue in the game because this game is bugged.
No, I mean,
Okay, that was a
moving.
bad, that was a bad decision by Yasuo to stay after killing the Orianna. And Xenon is taking the kill on Azriel.
Oh, they sent 2 people, they sent their major front line, so now it looks like it's going to be a mid lane siege. Wukong has no ult, there is no way of defending this, but they do get the kill in return. They kill the Shyvana before dragon spawns, the Wukong is still alive. Wukong does not have ult, but I don't think he necessarily needs it because the only 2 people alive are Lux and
Wukong doesn't need to go for directly as a Drake, but okay, Wukong is actually healing with his first ability, which is really good.
at this point it's just a matter of stalling. If they can stall long enough for Shyvana to get there, she might not have ult, but the smite spread is still there. She pops him, and Nurse just snipes him right across the fucking way.
That was a nice play by Orianna, and here comes Yasuo. Yasuo is trying to wipe.
Blue team champion slain.
No,
Team champion
the team fight are really messy in this game.
I mean, Azrael is not hitting anything the whole game. He hasn't hit a lot of the trades that are coming down, but I can understand it's a very, very high pressure situation. He doesn't necessarily have an easy time hitting. It's not easy, really. So the real question here is how do you come back, right? Shyvana still has ult? He doesn't have. She doesn't even get the chance to come back.
She got a huge assist.
team champion slain.
So that was a good
Okay,
fight for skirmishers. That was a good fight for skirmishers. Overall, they got a lot of kills. although they lose the Drake, but it was good.
Yeah, that was good because they can actually push 2 towers now and open the 2 towers. If they do it simultaneously, they can actually get 2 bounties. Is that Xen Indian? No, they're Pakistan mostly.
And Yasuo ult stopped them. Here we go with Lux damage. Lux is dealing a lot of damage. That was a nice focus by Renekton. Okay, and she got
Been slain.
her Q on him.
Blue team champion slain.
So Xenon can actually go with the Baron after this. Yes, they are going for that.
They could. Enemy jungle is dead. Renekton is dead. They don't really have frontline. I don't think Braum is going to be generally enough to deal with this because you also can just EQ instead of throwing the tornado. Shyvana also still has ult. Very risky to go for this. They should just take the tower. They should just take the bounty off of the mid lane tower. There's no reason to back here.
Oh my god, that steal stole! That was a nice steal by Skyle. Well played Ezreal.
He redeemed himself. He redeemed himself.
Yeah, that was really.
He got outsmited.
That was our bad. Ezreal, you are doing a lot of things. That was a nice.
Come on now, where was your smite, man?
Oh my god! I think he didn't want to smite on Barons for some reasons.
No, I mean you just smite. Like you don't just wait there. I mean,
Yeah, that was. They
Not
must
that
be.
that's the problem with it. They can't really do anything with it.
Must be-
Unless they siege properly. If they let the cannon minions get there, then they can probably open base. Well, not open the base, but open the lane.
And Xenon is still trying to hold their third tier turret. Okay, now they got the first tier.
Red team lost the turret.
But Yasuo is still pushing.
Red team
They
lost
need to
the
stop
turret.
Yasuo.
Yeah, someone needs to back
Yes.
away.
Skirmishers want to fight and they are dying. Okay, that was a nice kill by Bhishi. And Yasuo is coming from the backside. They need to know that they are getting. Okay, they will not fight as they have the Baron buff and they are going for the.
Imagine they win this off of that Baron. They literally just closed the gold gap after that. I mean, they also had to back. The team was getting like.
Okay,
slow.
that was a nice engage by Yasuo and Nautilus ult. I think Skirmishers overstayed. I think Skirmishers overstayed.
Yeah,
there.
they should have rotated. They should have rotated down to take the other tier 2. They shouldn't have stayed in mid lane. Because when
They
Yasuo spawns, where is he gonna go? When Yasuo back, he's gonna run straight for mid lane. So you have to kind of hover the bottom lane and just try to siege the bottom lane. Get that, reset, take your W. You close the gap. You're back into the game. You don't need to get caught out because that's what just happened. You overstay and then you get caught out. You've made a huge play, huge steal from Ezreal. You pushed the tower. You closed the gap. You took 1 tower, 2 towers. You could have taken 3. You killed some of their players that had bounties. Just press B. Go back to base. Cash in on your gold.
That was a huge mistake by Skirmishers, I think. But let's see how it goes. Miracles can happen anytime. You saw that by your own eyes.
Alright, Ezreal, it's all you, baby. You gotta hit that ult because we know damn well Senpai is not going to smite that shit. Yeah, you got this.
In this game, miracles can happen. So everything should be.
A miracle game.
Yeah, as I tell you all the time, you should be calm while playing the game.
Senpai looked at Ezreal and told him smiting is for noobs.
I think they should be fighting because 3 Drake for 1 team. So okay, they are. That was a nice engage by.
Not nice engage, but they don't kill the jungler. The jungler run. Go press him. Abandon him. He's dead. Oh my god.
Bhishi is going for the mid turret, and that was a nice decision. But
That was very good. Yeah, that was very good. Oh, there's no barrier on the base. There's no barrier on the base.
no, he cannot.
Oh, that's so sad. That is so sad. But there's a flank now. Bhishi has ult, I believe.
Nice. That was a nice stasis. They cannot fight at this point. I think they can sneak the Baron. Skirmishers can sneak the Baron because they have.
And Braum is dead and everybody's alive on that side, so I don't think they can.
I think they need to go back. Xenon needs to go back for the recall.
I think instead of like going down like that to the dragon fight to look for a flank, you should have probably pushed top side to taken some damage off of that tower. Because right now, like what they need to do is they need to keep the lanes perma shoved. Like they have the mid inhib, they just need to perma shove lanes now. So as long as the waves are shoved in, they can't really do anything.
The gold lead is not that huge in the both teams, so anyone can get us back, come back when they get one of the carries out of the team fights.
Well, they just have to be a nuisance now. Waves keep shoved in, Oriana will have the ability to sit there and poke, Ezreal will have the ability to sit there and poke, enemy team will have to separate to push back waves. That's what they kind of need. They need to time it with when the wave crosses the skirmish line, which is about the river. If the waves pass the river, then you can basically sit at a certain point and just spam your abilities, try to chip them down. Oriana should do a decent amount of damage, you can see that right there. She has a lot of mana too, so she could just sit there, spam Q, deal damage.
Ezreal needs to be comfortable with his playstyle now, because he is really strong now. He needs to start poking. Oh, okay, Oriana and Shivana is going in. That was a nice engage. Okay, that's looking good.
Yeah, that was an amazing knockup from Yasuo.
Rampage.
That was very good. They all hugged each other. They should not have fought on the choke point.
And Bhishi is stopping the push.
Well, I think at this point Bhishi should just open bottom as well.
Yes.
They don't
He
have a
can
jungler, so if they try to go for the Baron, it's gonna be a problem. They're probably gonna go for the Elder.
Yeah, Xenon
If
is
they,
going.
yeah, they can't. Their team can't siege. That's the thing. So if you look closely at this, their team, XN's team, cannot siege. Their entire team is based off of all-in. Like if they miss the all-in, you see how it becomes it's such a shitty situation where they're all gonna die like that. Now Shyvana missed her all in and she ended up dying. While if you look on Skirmishers side, they have a lot of potential to chip early game at the or early fight, so they can chip.
Yeah, then they need to focus Shyvana, and after that they need to go for the Yasuo, because Yasuo is dealing a lot of damage after Shyvana, so they are missing out the Yasuo after the
I mean
fight.
that's the problem. You can't really chip on the Yasuo because of the wind wall, right? If they
That's
time everything properly, if Yasuo can position correctly and place that wind wall, he can even save the Shyvana to a degree. But the problem is the whole team needs an all-in. But they're so fed right now that it just doesn't matter. They have 3 dragons, they have a fed Shyvana, the Shyvana has ult, they're going for Baron. Wukong is
Okay, they are fighting again for with the elder buff, and no, they can be stopped now. As a Yasuo, a
it's not
Yasuo,
worth contesting. It's not worth contesting to be honest.
and Bhishi is trying to push bot lane, so
He
this is
should, but he won't be able to because she has Elder, now she has Baron. I think if like I know this is like something that not a lot of teams do, but if you just leave the Wukong hover that Baron play and you have all 5 people in bottom lane, they could probably kill the Riven and push it in, right? And there's a big wave coming in, it's also a super wave. You could force them to reset there. If they see 4 people killing your
if you
teammates.
if you want to steal the Baron or any objective, leave the jungler and you can actually push the lanes with the whole other team in such situations. That's a very good point. So now the elder is going to be spawning soon. With that, Xenon will be pushing their lanes and building a lot of
Blue team lost a turret.
so they are not trying to push 3 waves, they are going with the 2 waves push.
I mean, yeah, their team has to be close together because remember, their entire team is based off of like all innings together. Lux have massive damage, but Lux should have her ult coming up soon. It's late game Lux, so
So yeah, she has a low cooldown. So that wasn't bad engage by Shyvana. It wasn't bad engage. They should not be fighting for now. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. They are going good with that. Renekton got one-shotted, and Yasuo. Yasuo is dead. Okay, looking good for the skirmishers. Okay.
I mean, they might not be
Oh.
able to defend. Braum is alive. Nothing's gonna seem to happen, but that's okay. Can Ezreal get his ult off? Oh, he doesn't have enough for his ult. Damn, that's depressing.
As a Xenon, it is a bad fight. They could have end the game with normal pushing the
Yeah,
lanes.
they could have by just hovering with the Baron minions. Shyvana should have waited for them to group up so she can channel into Yasuo ult. But the Shyvana I think was way too quick on that. But
Yeah.
I mean they have all the bases, they have everything open. It's 20 minutes, which means there is no inhib, right? Xenon got their inhib at the perfect time. So you really can't do much now. It's very hard. You can't leave your base. You have an Orianna, so you can kind of leave one person in your base, but Orianna is such a pivotal tool in these team fights. You kind of need her. That at this point it's just a game of patience, right? Because skirmishers can't leave their base. They will never have the ability to leave base.
They are not allowed to leave the base now, and they are fighting again. And Brom got caught. So I think it's GG, but it's never
Blue
end
team champion slain.
until it ends.
I mean, it's pretty much over. Their support is dead. Renekton is dead. Riven is gonna crash top wave. They don't even need the Baron. They can just get the Elder and then just kind of look for engage on this. But they'll probably go for Baron just in case.
No, they will probably not go for the Baron, but let's see how they.
I mean, they should. Honestly, they should. Because there's no harm in going for the Baron, right? Like, there's just no
Yeah.
harm in doing it at this point. So they still have an Orianna.
Yeah, for the safe side they can. Yeah.
They could still look for a dive, 5-man dive, look for an engage. You also knock off, win the game off the Elder, but it's just safer to get the Baron, generally speaking. Like, it's just easier to end the game when you have 1,000 super minions pushing into the base and you have them just Baron buff.
So at this point, overall, Skirmishers had a great comeback, and they just overstayed and ruined it. Now the damage is too high. The Lux is dealing one shot on
The Lux is doing damage, the minions are going to be very painful as well. 23 minutes, 24 minutes minions that are buffed by Baron. Super minions as well. Yeah, very strong. At this point, the game is just over. There it is.
Yeah, Skirmishers did a huge mistakes on in one mid lane push. Well, GG. Skirmishers played really good and they tried to get a comeback, but
Yep. There's one more. This is best of 5. It's finals.
let's see. It could be
Could be the reverse comeback.
yeah. Anything can happen.
They did well. They did very well, I think, but they overstayed. This is like it seems to be a theme, generally speaking. The teams that overstay too much. You don't want to overstay.
Yeah, it's just the one mistake which can get you a lose.
Yeah, especially in the later stages of the game where your death timers are huge. Like, and dying, you immediately you die. You lose Baron or you lose Elder or you lose something huge like that. And like at the beginning, I mean, you need to understand, like, once you're behind, the only way you come back is if you force the enemy to not become together, and the only way you can do that is by split pushing. It sounds stupid, but you have to give Shyvana the second dragon and try to force 4-man somewhere. Like, maybe leave your jungler to look for a steal, and then you can 4-man somewhere, because they're always gonna go for the dragon as a 5-man. 4-man to a different area, try to push it, try to open base, try to do something so that you can kind of deal with less pressure later on in the game. If you're not doing that, it becomes very devastating.
It reminds me of my own tournament last match with Xenon in the last tournament, where our third game we lost and we got reverse swept by them. Same mistake what we did. We were overstaying in the mid, and that's where we got aced. And
it wasn't overstaying. You guys could have ended. You had like two people not autoing for some reason. You could have just autoed and ended.
Yeah, I'm just saying the mistakes which teams do can cause a lot of things in the game. But Skirmishers are playing good. They need to get the comfortable picks for their team, and overall they are doing good. They are doing their early games good. And
right now, Now I do what I love to do. Let's look at chat. I heard Lux Q not hit minions. It hits minions, but it goes through them. Like it only roots champions now. It doesn't root minions. So back then you'd press Q and it would hit 2 minions, it would stop. Now it just goes through the minion wave.
It doesn't deal damage on minions anymore.
No, it does. It deals damage, but it's very minimum damage. But it goes through them. Like it doesn't stop.
So
She can now one
For
shot. Yeah, if she gets mana boots, she can one shot before Drake. If she gets like mana boots and finds herself with a Luden's Echo early game, she can actually like, especially with the first strike, if she lands her EQ, presses R, you just die. Like the time, because the first strike when it's active, it's 3 seconds, right? So for 3 seconds you can deal bonus true damage based off of your main damage, and Lux ult has the highest damage potential in the early game with mana boots and Ludens. So you can basically do that. You'll probably deal about 200 to 300 true damage off of that combo alone, and they will guarantee death. If you do kill them, I think Lux can gain about 150 to 200 gold off the first strike if she one shots like that. I think that's what that's why it's like she can one shot now.
we'll choose a side. For the reverse sweep for Skirmishers. I think Xenon needs blue side.
We pick sides. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if it's like one side then the other side and they switch like that. I'm not exactly sure. But they won, so.
We get side selection. 3-5. It's a Xenon. Team selection. I need to hear my voice on this on stream.
Yeah.
I need to see or hear my voice. How bullshit it is with my microphone.
Yeah.
If Bhishi team is getting a blue side, they can go with the Kaisa pick too. Why they are banning the Kaisa pick? I think Kyle can also play
I
Kaisa.
think they could look. I think because like when they banned the Kaisa, I mean, if they pick the Kaisa, they leave Senpai the Wukong open, right? No, they should have banned. If they had first pick, they should have banned Wukong and then went with the Kaisa. I think that's what should have happened. But it's
They
still
can,
hard.
yeah, Senpai has a huge champion pool. You cannot say that he is a one-trick Wukong player.
Yeah.
He can play a lot of champions like Zed, like Leon, like Shyvana, like Wukong, Olaf. Like he has a lot of champions in his champion pool. He's a really good jungler.
The problem is the difference is like when you have to look at how these champions work. Zed, for him to become OP, he needs to snowball. He needs to get kills, which means he needs to deviate out of his clear to get the kills. When that happens, the main issue with that in 5-man is if you make a mistake, you fall behind a Zed. If you fall behind a Zed, the only thing you can do, you can't do anymore, which is damage. Same thing with Yone. Yone takes too long to scale as well if you're not going for kills too. So the problem with that is if they play safe.
You are saying that Wukong is having a lot of impact on the fights, but I'm not seeing any impact by the skirmishers with Wukong. As a Shyvana, he is dealing a lot of good engages and a lot of damage as a Shyvana. So it's all about the execution of the champion. So they should be giving their ADC a good ADC to deal a lot of damage because he is comfortable with Kaisa, like Varus. Like his champion pool is also good as an ADC. So they should be getting Kaisa, I guess.
Alright. So, what's the Soraka rework? I heard it's ridiculous. Well, they changed her healing. Basically, back then when Soraka used to heal, she used to lose a percentage of her health every time she healed. Now she doesn't lose a percentage of her health. So she can basically perma heal you. The only thing she loses is mana. She doesn't lose health anymore. So that's the Soraka rework. And with the new support item that they added, which boosts like 20% healing, and the new runes they added, which is for 5% boosted healing and then 10% if you're below 40, she can basically do 30% more healing now. So she's not necessarily devastating. She was the moment her rework came, because she'd do 700 heal every 3 seconds. So it was broken, but now it's a bit better, I guess. It's still annoying to go against, like it's not fun to deal with, but it's just
Soraka is like a balanced champion now in the Wild Rift, as she should be, but more than balanced. She is in S tier at this time also.
yeah.
So
I
you
think
can also
if they wanted to make Soraka good, they should have just increased the range of Q. They didn't need to change all the HP and all this other stuff. They just need to give her Q a little bit more range. That's it.
overall Soraka is also a good support still now.
Yeah. I mean, the AoE silence is very good. If you land a good AoE silence, it's huge. It turns into a root as well.
Okay, they are getting ready for the next match. Let's see. Okay, the game is getting.
Okay, but she came back.
Xenon just left the lobby.
I think Raven left.
He might be having hours. Okay. Okay.
Game 3. Game 3 starts.
A last game for Xenon and first game for the reverse for Skirmishers. Let's go.
What about Morgana? Lena came here just to ask me about Morgana. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Because I told
So let's see the Skirmishers ban here. What they are banning now. Okay, it's a Yon ban now. I think they are going with the Kaisa now. You will see. I think
Probably,
Bhishi heard me saying that. But let's see how it goes. I think they are going with the Kaisa first. They should be.
Alright, so someone in chat has a great idea. He's talking about Lux Infinity Edge. What do you think?
Bro, yeah, if you go with a little tempo Lux, you can go with Infinity Edge and
For real?
yeah, Rapid Fire Cannon.
Okay, cool.
You can do that with Soraka too. Is if so you can just throw moons on the enemies with the crits.
Looks like a Corki ban. I think they're gonna ban the same 3 champions as they did in the previous 2 games. So they're gonna probably ban Corki, Vex, and what was it called? The other champion as well.
Yeah, Volibear.
Yeah, Volibear. Oh, why? You have
Okay. Yeah, why they are banning Kaisa? I don't know. They should be getting Kaisa, bro.
I mean, I think, look, generally speaking, if we're looking at draft, if your jungler is the carry, having second pick is good because you can take the jungler you want to play and pair it up with a support that can kind of bubble wrap what champion you take.
As the Skirmishers, their barrel lane and their ADCs, yeah, is really strong. I know them from for 2 years now. Kyle is really good ADC and Bhishi is really good barrel laner. So they should be focusing on ADC and the Baron picks. But
Yeah.
let's see how they go with the pick.
Well, yeah, there it is. 3 same bans coming in from XN, and Skirmishers go with the same bans from last game. Wukong first pick again.
Alright, they should be having something in their mind now.
if they can get away with the same, comp as they did last game, and they're probably gonna do it again. So it could be another Nautilus game. Could be. Very,
Yeah,
very
it could be.
high potential. Because they did that. They did that the game before, right? They were allowed to kind of go the champions they wanted, and they went for it. There is Nautilus pick. You also pick again.
They are going as a pick. So they are not taking any risk.
Yeah, they just need to close out the game.
And Skirmishers needs to change their drafts. They should be going with more of CC and more of damage.
Someone said Cat is not good in pro plays. Which
Kata
Cat?
is
You?
good, but
Or
if
Katarina?
the enemy teams have don't have a lot of CC, then Kata is really good.
Oh,
You can
here
pick.
comes Yumi. They picked the Yumi. They finally.
You Lulu is a really good.
Katarina, no, Katarina is good in. Oh, Yumi. Yumi is good in pro play. No, I think it's just a matter of like combinations, right? So it depends on who you're picking Yumi for. Okay, it looks like Lulu Vayne. Lulu Vayne is really strong in bot lane. The only problem is
Not
terrain.
in early game. Not early game. They
Yeah,
need
not
to.
early.
Yeah.
And if they pick the same, okay, so here comes the Camille. So now it's a bit of an issue. They kind of need to snowball the bottom lane. They need to play. So Wukong has to play for the bottom lane now, because they need the Vayne to get to a point where she can 1v1 people. If that happens, they can easily kite.
Wukong needs to play around Vayne now.
But yeah,
If
Yumi is good in pro play. You just have to pair it up with something that works as well. And for for Katarina, she's very conditional. Like it depends. Obviously, if the enemy team goes for squishies with no CC, you're gonna pick Katarina always. It's just generally speaking.
if you're good
Anyway.
with her, like you are on trick with her or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
it looks
that was a nice ban by by Skirmishers. Lux is a good ban.
Sion
And
ban,
they-
Ken ban, and then you're looking at okay, Zoe and Lux ban.
It is looking a fairer game for me by Bhishi, but let's see how it goes. Overall, his Renekton was really good. He was dealing a lot of damage and he was pushing. Look, this is Renekton. Okay, let's see what Xenon picks. Okay, it's a Seraphine pick.
When someone said no wave clear on Lux, if you hit E on the wave with Lux now and you press Q, the Q will trigger the light stacks on the wave, so you can actually kill the wave with Lux. You have wave clear on Lux.
Yeah, people used to go with Q and E, so you have to go with
QE. That's why you don't feel the
Yeah.
face down. But you have to
Yeah.
EQ now. If you
Yeah.
E first, then EQ. Alright, so it looks like
Okay,
this is probably
Wayne. Wayne is a good pick.
his Q goes through Yasuo well, so he can lane pretty well. Also,
Okay, I didn't know that. If that goes in, then it's
it
fine.
goes
It's
through.
good.
His W goes through and his Q goes through. His E doesn't though, because it's a projectile. But his ult, his Q, and his W. So Yasuo is a very good response. Swain, very good response to Yasuo. Looks like it's gonna be a Gragas pick. Now, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep the Vayne in a hyper carry position, and they're trying to hopefully, if Swain can become a
Yes.
problem, they're gonna be the one that's being
They-
targeted by everybody.
They built their draft around the Vayne. So if someone comes on Vayne, they just ult and
Yes.
pull them back with the Gragas ult. I think that's what they are
Yeah.
planning.
Seraphine, and then they picked by. So they have a lot of single target potential. At the same time, they seem to not be picking any AD carry in the bottom lane. They're actually getting more enchanters in the bottom lane, which, I mean, it makes sense. If you're going for like a mid lane hyper
Yeah.
carry like Yasuo, you want to kind of enhance it. You just take bottom lane
The
enchanter.
thing is, if the things are working out for you, then you can go with that. There is no doubt in it. If
Yeah, I
the
think-
things are working.
I think the bottom enchanter meta, like the ADC enchanter meta, is probably gonna come back anyway. I think it already came back to boots. The boots are so good. Like, you have to look at it this way. Back then, they didn't have enough damage, and that's why they couldn't
Yeah.
deflate them bot lane. But now
Mana
you
regen.
yeah, you have the mana boots, you have the regen. You can go Tear of Goddess early game. You have really good pressure now. You have the new ruins, which are basically surrounding damage. It makes a lot of the AoE champions have a lot of one-shot potential to the minion wave. So it's like enchanter meta's probably back, I think. I don't think just people have experimented with it because, well,
By the way, I saw Senpai with Y for the first time in the tournament.
Hmm?
Ever. He's playing Y.
yeah, very
Like he
simple.
never
Yeah,
played Y in the tournament.
you can
Like,
pull it off.
yeah, I never saw him playing Y in the tournament. Let's see how it goes. This is the third game.
Someone is asking what's the score. It's 2-0. 2 for XN, 0 Skirmishers. One this if XN wins this game, they win the tournament.
So Wukong needs to change his pathing accordingly, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean his bot lane is for sure getting camped. Like that's not even where his bot lane is getting camped. It has to get camped.
Senpai will clear his red and come towards bot lane for a potential dive.
Yeah, and that's where the Seraphine is actually a really good response pick to the Vayne. You have to think of it of this in this situation where the main issue here is like Seraphine has a lot of wave clear and Vayne doesn't. So this double utility bottom lane will always have the rotation advantage. And Lulu will not be able to necessarily stay there and keep the Vayne alive 24/7. And if Vayne tries to take a trade, she will for sure die. She cannot survive all that TP.
Yeah, but Xenon is trying to let them push because they are waiting for their jungler to die for the Vayne. They cannot fight in early game.
No ADC, someone's saying no ADC in the chat. They don't need ADC. AP champions are very strong right now. The mana boots gives you 60 AP 100% mana regen bonus. So that's a lot of early game damage. So in terms of scaling ratios, like you don't really need 80 carries now. AP champions are just really strong.
I think I'm having lag. Let me fix it.
Alright, looks like Vi is finally done with it. She's playing bottom side river. She's probably looking for a gank. She's gonna look for a gank after the scuttle, I believe. She is out of vision, by the way. The only vision they have is in the tri-brush. I don't think she's gonna take the tri-brush route, though. Alright, Wukong played for a topside gank, didn't quite land anything. He's gonna go for scuttle now. Vi's moving towards mid lane. Wukong is on his blue buff. Okay, he pops splash. Can they get the kill? There it is. That's first blood for Vi. He had to flash and use his exhaust, but he ends up dying anyway.
Red team first blood. Blue team champion slain.
Gragas gets the oh my god. Gragas gets the return kill. He tanks the third shot, therefore he's low. Will Vi get the skill? He should have flashed towards the Wukong, but I think he can survive. He has healing. There we go. Vi is turning. Hello, you there? Oh, yo, hello?
Champion slain.
So quiet, man.
Red team champion slain.
Oh, you're muted. It's just me. It's just me. Ah, there he goes. He just disconnected. I think his connection dropped. Yeah, his internet is lagging. He's saying his internet is lagging. Well, he'll just DM me saying that. Anyway, chat, you guys, you can be my co-caster. Let's go, chat. So, what are you predicting? Do you think XN would win, or do you think SKS would win? Any predictions? The winner gets a skin. If you win, Bhishi will buy you a skin. I'll talk to him. SKS would win. Alright, let's see. Hopefully we get the weird like back, you know how like teams kind of reverse sweep it. Hopefully we get that. Be like telling Bhishi by they won an illegal giveaway that I hosted on the live stream. Illegal giveaway. Hey, they're just being picked off one by one now. And this is gonna be very strange because like XN, even though Skirmishers have had like a really good early in terms of the 2-1 kill, they've lost so much gold, so much XP in minion waves that they're just being gapped now. So it's very strange because they're basically even in terms of kills. They're gonna be even in terms of kills, but at the same time, they don't really have the gold, but they get the dragon. That dragon is pretty good because I think Lulu needs the ability haste. There, Cloud Factory says XN.
Blue team has slain
Okay,
the dragon.
if you guys win the illegal giveaway, I'll just DM Bhishi, tell him Helix did an illegal giveaway, and whoever predicted who wins gets. Sadly, Swain gets caught. I mean, I think it's looking one-sided. In terms of gold, they've gotten gapped a lot. Like, it's a huge gap right now. It's gonna be very difficult for them to come back into the game, especially with Vayne. Commentary is ahead of the game. Oh, okay, my bad. Maybe there's a delay that I'm not aware of. Blazing right there. What's the timer? Oh yeah, I'm ahead. Let me know when you get to 6:20. Alright. We should be now on the same timer. Oh, the stream timer is very different, by the way. There's a delay. Hey, so Dawn, are you back? Can't hear you, by the way. Just in case you're talking, can't hear you. It looks like probably the first tier tower is potentially going to go to XN. It's going to be the mid lane tower, which is very, very bad. I think if you're playing Swain, you're not supposed to be giving away these towers. You also get to I thought it was 2-man knockup. Wukong and Swain. Wukong survives that knockup. Swain is here with ulti. Yasuo even with wall. Wukong goes back in with his second ult. Lulu ults Wukong. Shouldn't have really ulted Wukong, should ulted Swain, but Swain gets the kill on the Yasuo. Now here, if they can get the fire, it's going to be huge. Fire's low. Vayne gets the kill finally. Vayne's about to come back into the game now. So now they just need to get a return tower into mid lane, and then once they get that, well, I mean, actually they didn't lose the tower. How low is this tower? Oh, it's like 70 HP. Wow.
First turret destroyed.
It's like 14 HP. My bad. They couldn't auto it. The minions didn't take it. Anyways, they lose the mid lane tower. They have priority. I mean, technically this is a dead tower. Like anyone can really just walk in and auto it and it will die. But Swain overstays here again. Has to flash. He can go back to base here, but for some reason he's just hovering the Wukong, catching the wave potentially. Yasuo and Nautilus are looking for a rotation towards the bottom lane. Okay, so Donbai just messaged again. He said his internet is fucked right now. Okay. Nautilus catches the Wukong in the jungle. He zones him out. Did he just flash? Was that Hex? Oh, was that? He just missed his flash. Okay, well. Nautilus, no flash.
Blue team lost a turret.
Bottom lane tier 1 tower goes down to the Seraphine. They've roamed for a bit too long, they couldn't respond to it. It looks like a Vi Yasuo rotation towards the Gragas. Camille has ult, she's waiting for her team to get there, they're probably going to dive. And there it is. Yasuo ult comes in, Vi ult comes in. Gragas is dead, Camille does not have ult, does not need to use ult. And they're gonna start pushing the tower, hopefully they take the tier 1. Swain rotates topside, hopefully to catch the wave. Looking at a dragon right now, Swain honestly shouldn't be really here. Camille still has ult, so she can actually keep the fight with Swain. I don't think she... I mean, she doesn't have Ignite, so she could actually lose this. Swain has to either rotate mid or press B, get whatever he can get, and move towards mid lane. For the dragon. Looks like a 3-man bottom lane. Vayne is alive, Lulu has ult, Vayne has ult, Wukong has ult. They should save it for the dragon. Looks like Swain is pushing mid lane. Dragon's about to spawn in 20 seconds. They're camping the bush, waiting for someone to make a mistake so that Nautilus can just freeze him for 3 generations or 7 business days. This champion is just boring to go against. Like, actually, one of the most annoying supports in the game. Like, if he autos you, it's a root. And then he has like a billion other ways to CC you. It's just annoying. Nautilus gets a reposition. He also has to get a bit closer to the Nautilus when the knockup comes out. He can actually follow up. Nautilus is holding R. Here comes a 3-man knockup. He also cannot reach that, sadly. Vi knockup comes in. Vayne is ulted by the Lulu. Wukong gets killed. Seraphine gets killed. Vayne gets killed. And at this point, if Gragas can survive, they could very well, not necessarily like
Rampage.
win it, but it would be a big threat for them to go for the dragon. But Vi, thank you with her W shield. You can Gragas with us. Yeah, yeah. 3-man on the Gragas, it's a free Mountain Drake.
Blue team
Very big
ace.
problem. Giving away that Mountain Drake to a Vi and a Camille and the Nautilus is a huge problem. But if Swain gets that Mountain Drake, obviously it's gonna be like, it's gonna be a dream. Because that guy's just not gonna die at all. But they lose the dragon, X-Men gets the dragon. That's huge for them. They deny the double dragon stack. Look like he also just invades their jungle, takes their blue buff. Swain, yeah, he's overstaying a lot. Yeah. Swain is overstaying way too much. Because Swain, if he like can kind of play around more towards a supporting role, he could probably do a lot. But the issue is he's not staying near the Vayne, and that's kind of the main problem. What's killing Vayne is that he's just not around. And they have enough to keep the Vayne alive. Because if they try to dive into Swain, I mean, you have to deal with Swain. You can't, and then Vayne just kites around. She has Lulu, she's chilling. Looks like the entire team is rotating towards top lane. The utility picks are recalling. I don't know about this Vi positioning. Vi has to flash. Wukong looks for ult. Vi uses Zonia. Oscar's still waiting. Vi gets knocked up again. Vi ends up dying to the Vayne. Very bad. You don't want to give Vayne these free kills because she gets to a point where she actually just starts dominating the game. And she seems like she's on the way to get there. You don't want that because even Camille will not be able to 1v1 her. Even if Camille goes for the ult, she will not be able to 1v1 her. But you're gonna have to CC chain her for eternity. Seraphine ult comes in, connects to the Vayne. He also goes in on the Vayne. Vayne is too low, and Nautilus ult kills the Vayne. Finally, Swain is here, but he's taking a while. I don't think he needed to flash there, but he flashed anyway. He lands a hook on the Seraphine to probably kill the Seraphine here. Seraphine uses Zonia. She gets away. Very interesting. He's just clearing minions and not aggressive, just stop dying. It's very easy when pressed. True. But to a degree, you have to look at it from this perspective as well, right? Because he kind of, he got ganked by Vi a lot. Now, the problem is, when you're playing champions like Swain, it's a really good counter to the Yasuo. You don't really have to, you don't have to big dick it, right? You don't have to shove the lane with Swain. You just wait for the Yasuo to push the lane into you, and then you hold the fruit, because Yasuo will never beat you against Swain. The only thing you can block is your E, and you don't have to E with Swain. You just, especially if you have Conquer, you can just auto, and whenever he tries to do anything, you can kind of, after you stack your Conquer, you can try to Q for like a huge chunk of his HP. And if he makes a mistake, you can grab a stack.
Red team
Looks like
champion slain.
a Baron call. They stole it. They stole it from him. I mean, I don't know what Senpai is happening.
Red team lost a turret.
I don't know what Senpai's doing, man. What Senpai's doing. Senpai's influence. That Swain goes towards, yeah, he permanently kept pushing the lane, so he just allowed the Vi to permanently gank him. He should have just held the wave near the tower. I don't know if it's maybe like they're nervous, but everybody does this, like they forget their basic wave management. If you're playing a ranged champion into melee champion, you don't have to do any of that. Like you just sit back, relax, let the Yasuo push to you, and then just harass him. Like you can't really do anything against you early game without his Vi.
Team lost a turret.
Alright, we're looking at a Baron. This time they're not overstaying. So I guess they learned their lesson. They're looking for a cheese. Baron reveals the Wukong. Vayne gets a huge condemn. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. The Seraphine is out of the fight. Vi is there. They need to catch the Vayne. Swain just zones them off, but Vayne is going to be the main problem. I think Lulu alters a bit too early. Patience, my friend. Yeah, he needs patience. He needs to learn how to like keep the wave near him for long periods of time so that Yasuo doesn't get to farm. It kind of promotes people into making mistakes. Yeah, that's common. This has happened the whole entire tournament. Like I don't know, Senpai is just not pressing Smite for some reason. I think he believes Smite is for noobs. Well, Dragon's coming back. They have really two options here. They can either try to open top side, or they can go for the Dragon. I think they're probably gonna go for the Dragon. Wukong is sadly dead, so they're gonna have to look for a delay. Vayne is in a very bad position right now. Like if Nautilus knows that she was doing that, she would have probably died. They start the Dragon. There's a bit of a jungle diff here because their jungle is dead and theirs aren't. Wukong gets to the fight finally. They zone them off of the Dragon. Swain has to position near the Gragas. I don't know why he's standing all the way in Narnia. Alright, Seraphine gets 1% ult. Swain presses R. Oh my god, he steals the Dragon. It's just, they're both stealing objectives from each other. It's crazy. Like, I've never seen that ever. Wukong ends up dying. Camille dies to the Gragas. Vayne is still alive, so there's still a chance. Lulu's still alive, she still has mana. There's still a chance that Vayne cleans out this fight. Vayne gets a kill in return. They're both going in. Gragas is still healthy as hell. So Vi looks like she's about to die, honestly. If they keep pushing that hard towards her, she's probably dead. But Seraphine catches in. She places a gigantic shield. Gragas still has ult. Gragas needs to time a good ult. If Vayne comes in, there we go. Vayne goes in, forces his Zonia. Gragas ult comes in, separating them. Seraphine goes down. Vi gets caught, cancels the Q, and she's dead. So they basically just ate the entire team. Here the play is very simple. Push mid as hard as you can. They don't need 3 people here. They don't need to be recalling either. They have like 5 people dead. You don't need to recall. You just push mid and open in him. Yeah, that's the type of team fight. It just brings them back into the game. Now you have to deal with the fed as fuck Vayne, right? With like infinite CC frontline. That it's very hard to pass the Wukong and the Gragas. Gragas is itemizing pretty well with his blue grass. He has everything set up. The problem here is they're playing for another 50-50. They should have opened mid lane. Recalling when 5 people are dead is cool. So Vi is still dead though, so it's not really a 50-50. Them going to it as fast as possible is actually a good idea. The only thing is they have to keep the Vayne alive, and Swain has to make sure not to end, because he pressed R there for no reason. So that's all they need to do. Swain looks for a back here. I mean, backing, you've already backed, you don't need to back again. But he looks for a back, and that kind of messes up with the timer. So now it's a 4v5 effectively in mid lane. Who's that? Who got stuck? Is that Vi? I got stuck. Perma CC on the Vi is dead. Wukong is holding his ult. Could be a huge team fight. Lulu doesn't ult the Wukong, but Lulu at this point, just late into the game, Lulu ult is very low for them. So Wukong gets pushed out, Gragas gets pushed out, they have to dash out of the calm if they can. Swain comes in, Swain no ult, so there we go, that's why he doesn't need to press ult like that. Bot lane is not being pushed in. I don't know, the 5-man era was a bit strange. I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying. I'm not a caster, I'm a coach. Oh my god, okay. Looking good for SK. It is looking amazing for them. All they need to do, I mean, they shouldn't have all fucking ARAM mid lane. Like, ARAMing mid lane is a bit strange. But Vayne is still alive and that's all that matters. So Vayne is alive, there is a risk, they should not, this is a huge mistake. They should not have started the dragon fight. They don't have Gragas. Gragas has been a pivotal point that has been keeping Vayne alive. Starting the Elder is a huge mistake. Vayne gets the kill on the Yasuo. At this point, it's fair game. Right, so Vayne is still alive. She's healthy, Lulu's alive, Vayne gets a double, Vayne gets, why doesn't, it didn't count as a triple, oh there we go, Swain stole it of course. Camille just passively, like, gets the fucking Hullbreaker, gets 2 towers for free. Gragas respawns finally after the spawns, but if Camille going to die, Gragas has to stop her from backing. If he can stop her from backing, they can open mid lane tower. They open mid lane tower, very easy game. You need to just wait for a wave. If Gragas can't stop her from backing, very simple. Press B, catch top wave, and push back bottom wave. So once the bottom wave bounces off of you, you can time it with another Baron. Right? in a scenario where you're going for Baron, but your wave, since it's slow pushing towards the Cecil Tower, they just take it. So after Gragas pushes this wave, he has to rotate immediately to bottom lane and time it with the Baron play. So, yeah, this match is a bit strange, but I mean, anything can happen. They're still even in gold. They're not that far ahead, and Xen would argue like Xen has not a better late game, but more of a better scaling with both the dragons that they have. But they're being caught constantly. Lulu gets caught here. They have Elder, ult. Elder gets a kill.
Shut down.
And that's the Lulu shutdown. They just have to play it slow now. They can play it slow, they can kill everybody. So Wukong goes in, knocks everybody up. Zane is looking for easy cleanup. Lulu's dead, so it's a bit of a risky play. He also still alive and he still has his ultimate, looking for knockup, can't to find any. Walks back towards the Raptors to get another knockup. A bit of a strange position, but Vi basically at this point, if she has Elder, she can basically ult somebody and she will immediately kill them. He looks for an ult on the Gragas. Gragas gets ulted. He's knocked out. He also blocks the Vayne with the wind wall. A bit of a strange play there. They should have never grouped like that. If you die once, Elder buff is gone. Yeah. It's not like Baron. They changed it. So if you die, you lose the Elder. But here comes the dragon. Oh yeah, the Baron. My bad. Here comes the Baron. Vi's alive. Now, in terms of respawn timers, Xen gets their full team spawned before SKS. They should be looking. I don't know why they're letting this enormous wave push into their base. That's going to become a problem. The jungler should not be the one responding to that big wave. Swain should be the one responding to it. Because right now what happens is they give away a lot of ground. And if you're allowing Swain to just walk up blindly into river, he basically uses his ulti. And really what Swain ulti is all about is it just makes him a glorified tank that does damage, really. So they give up a lot of position. I think the most useless in terms of team fights at the moment, which is kind of strange to say, but Swain hasn't really been doing that. Gragas catches the bottom right split push, Xen goes for the Baron sneak. They might be able to do it before Skirmishers even get to see the Baron. And Jungler isn't there, Lulu gets ulted, huge mistake. Seraphine ults in, Vayne is still alive, there's still hope. He also gets a 5-man knockup, but he also does not have ulti. Camille pushing in from topside, she can solo end this. Camille can just solo end this game. She has Baron buff, she has Hullbreaker, she can solo end this game, and there we go. So that's game 3. It was a bit strange because they had their comeback, but the backing when 5 people were dead is probably where they lost the game because they should have opened mid lane there. They should not have backed. The 5-man backing was just strange. Everybody's dead, push up, open top, open bot, and then recall the moment that you see them on a wave. That way you time your recalls with when the enemy spawn. I'm dying, I need food. Why Riot is not releasing this fucking Who game here in India? What's wrong with them? I mean, they're saying it's in beta, but they're selling things for money, so I don't know, man. Riot, as long as they're making money, they don't really care. So yeah, that was game 3. Xen takes the tournament 3-0. Skirmishers put up a really good fight. Countless times where they had a lot of comeback. Well, SKS give up. Yeah, they gave away so many things. Even the game 2, they had a way to come back. They basically equalized the gold, and then all of a sudden they just overstay in mid lane. They get completely wiped, and that was game over. And they repeated the same thing in game 3. They didn't overstay this time, but they backed up way too early, and they dropped a lot of their advantages, and they just ended up losing the game. But at the end of the day, both teams put a really good fight. It's easy GG. I don't know, just being, there's a little toxicity here and there. I don't see any easy GGs anywhere, but I had to do it myself. They both played really good. And Xen takes, I think this is the season 3 of the tournament. So Xen took the season 2 and they took the season 3 as well. So very clean wins. Back-to-back ISL champions. Who is this? Both team noob. Who is this person? Who is this menace? This man just came here. This man came here wanting all the smoke. That's it. That was the finals. That was it. They won. Let's see if we can bring Bhishi in here for a post-game interview. Can you drag him professional? I don't have any. Wait for me here. I'll come back 1 second. All right. I got Bhishi, guys. I got Bhishi. Don't end stream. It's post-game interview. Wait. All right, Bhishi. All right, Bhishi. This is post-game interview. So, what are your thoughts, man? Why do you think you lost?
Because we honestly just play for fun. And yeah,
No. You're bad. Don't give me.
I mean, if you're bad, we would have not gotten knocked out in the semis or the quarters like some other teams did.
No, I see. So you're just taking shots now. Is this what it is?
You started first. I didn't know to take any shots with anybody. But nah, man, like honestly, we knew heading into the tournament that these guys are practicing a lot. They play as 5-man and everything. So, and our team generally just we are just playing for fun. We're just playing
Let's talk
tournament.
about team two. Let's talk about game 2 and game 3. So game 2 and game 3, you guys made a comeback in game 2, right? And then you overstayed instead of going for bottom tower. Instead of your team helping you push bottom tower.
This is literally what happens when, as a team, we don't have enough experience playing as 5. So you play solo queue. And what happens is you think, okay, let me get one more turret or one more plating and one more fight, and then you throw it. So as you can see, I think honestly, if you look at the trajectory between games 1 and 3, there was a general change in how we were playing. I think
there was a
game
lot
on
of
game
adaptability.
so we were improving, and that's just generally practice. I owe it all to practice, right? So had we practiced more against a 5-man or a good team, we would have sort of ironed out these mistakes that we were doing where we are getting caught out like a bunch of monkeys.
And one thing is what I noticed. That's what I want to touch on too. Because when you look at the game 3, you kind of learn from your mistake of overstaying in game 2. But what's amazing is like you now you have 5 people dead, but you have a lot of people backing when 5 people are dead. You could have just opened mid lane. And so it's not just necessarily adjusting; it's an over adjustment that did not need to happen.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there are a lot of times where we still had the game in the bag. The Elder loss was very unfortunate. Like, had we gotten the Elder there, that would have solidified a push towards mid. It would have solidified a lot of the game. So 50-50s were sort of not in our hands in game 3. But I think overall, it's just our mistakes that made us lose the game. I think the comeback was good. I think we had the stronger late game comp with Vayne Dulu. It was just about disengaging for them at the right time. But it happens, man. It's like like our team isn't really like devastated at the loss or anything like that because we're just playing for fun. We knew that eventually they were the better team in terms of practice at the current moment, so we just wanted to like do what we could. And I think games 1 to 3 we did improve, so I think we just practiced more. I think the outcome would have been different. But kudos to Xenon, I think they're called. So GG's to them. I think they deserve to be winners. I think they definitely showed or proved why they are the current best team in the region. And I think
last ISL tournament, they actually were named 7G. It was the same players, but they were in a different team name. They won the season 2.
Yeah, they won season 2 as well, and I think this time they came back even stronger because I feel like with the addition of a couple of their players, I think it does look like they were playing quite well. So it's just that, like every other team in the scene, I think is the only difference between them and every other team, I would say, in the scene is just the fact that they are slightly better as a team, coordination wise. They know when to gang. They are able to put the right resources in the right lanes that allows them to get one up, and they make less mistakes. It's not exactly like they're super proactive or they're super mechanically intensive that allows them to win. It's just simply better teamwork and lesser mistakes, and I think that makes a huge world of difference to essentially how they end up playing, right? So if other teams want to also get at that level, it's just about realizing and minimizing your own mistakes and then just playing together as a team, which I think they did pretty well.
I see. So someone asks, no one uses Quicksilver in pro play. They do. The thing is, I mean, look at the comp. You can't Quicksilver all that CC. Like, you just have to dodge it. If you get stunned for 5 seconds, you can QSS one stun, but there's like 10 other stuns waiting for you. So QSS is irrelevant. You just go Zonia. Stopwatch generally speaking is just better in pro play.
Yep, and you can't QSS knockouts. So when a Nautilus ults at you or a Y ults at you, that shit can't be QSS. So you definitely just have to go Zonia to dodge that.
And that's why no one went QSS this game. But yeah, I mean, overall, it was fun games. It was nice. Everybody played really well. Do we do post-game interview for the other team? Ask them who's their captain.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Senpai is the captain, I think.
Pull him
Go
in, pull
ask
him in, pull
Senpai.
him in, pull him in.
Ask him if he wants to go because he's having a
There's no,
conversation.
this
So
is not a
I'll move
democracy.
you. I'll move you. Ask him and then come back to me. I'll move him.
Drag him, he's down, he was waiting.
All right. Let me pull him.
Senpai, hello? Hello, Senpai?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So this is post-game interviews. I just talked to Bhishi, so what do you think? Why do you think you won 3 games in a row? Do you have anything to say? Because you had moments in game 2 where you kind of threw, they overstayed, and that's why they ended up losing the game. And then the last game that you could have lost, but they backed way too early when 5 people were dead. So what do you have to say about winning all 3 games consecutively?
Well, actually, like their playstyle is all about team fighting. Like they pick three melee champions and they just peel for their carries, you know. So we just pick the split pusher and play around them. That's what
I
they
see.
do. We picked Camille like 2 games in a row,
So you think your main
and their top is
victory?
like always in team fights.
Can you say that again? Repeat that?
I'm saying their top is like in always team fights, you know, like he plays tanks. So our top laner can pick just a duelist or a split pusher and do his job.
I see. Oh, that's why you were banning the Scion, because he was the only split pusher they were playing.
Yeah, yeah. And he's
Alright.
actually so annoying to lane against. That's why.
Alright, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say before we end the stream?
Oh, just the games were really fun, honestly. I actually wanted to play more. Like I was ending last game so much. I wanted to play more, but it just ended.
Wait. Before we actually end the stream, one more question. Which
Yeah.
team did you actually like when you looked at the brackets? Which team did you genuinely feel threatened by?
Honestly, I was just saddened by OC, not gonna lie. But they
My
like
team, baby.
got
That's
out
my
too early.
team. That's my team, baby.
Yeah.
That's my team.
No, they got out too early, man. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, we honestly like I don't know, man. I'm surprised we lost. We've never lost a scrim to Gulk, and then we just
Yeah,
throw
I
it.
know.
We entered the drafts multiple times, and I don't know.
I was
We
like
were we
pretty
were
sure
kind
that
of
we were gonna be against you in the finals, but
yeah, we were
unfortunately,
too. Because I looked at your brackets, and your brackets were like very kind of like a
yeah,
linear progression in terms of difficulty, and we are like, oh, we're gonna run into them at the end, and then we just
yep.
entered. We just entered so hard, and then we ended up losing. But yeah, I mean, that was it. I mean, at least this time, this you guys won the second tournament, the season 3. You guys won that back to back with season 2, and GG's, man. That was very good. Somebody said honestly this was bad finals. I mean, well, you can't have it all, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Like that's all we can do, you know. There's not many teams in this tournament, so
Yeah, there aren't a lot of teams, so it's like. By the way, this tournament was ironed out in like 1 week. Like it wasn't. It's not like people play for like multiple weeks and collect points, and then there's a secondary bracket. And
yeah.
yeah, there wasn't even losers bracket this season.
Yeah, the
This.
schedule is really short, you know, this time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Don OC Lion? No, Donbai is OC Kekstar. He's the AD carry. Lion is the jungler. Don is the Kaisa one trick. Oh, he's not a Kaisa one trick anymore, but he's the one who plays Kaisa. Anyway, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, anyways. Like the games were really fun, I enjoyed it.
You can end the stream. Kill it, man. Kill it. I don't know what else to say. Kill the stream. Kill the stream. I don't know what else to say. I've been talking for like hours. I'm dying.